These are your instructions. In general, you just need to work your way through the PowerPoint. There are instructions in the yellow boxes on some of the slides for you. Please make sure that the sound is turned up on your device so you can hear the narration. And don't forget, if a slide asks for homework, send it in via Show My Homework. And if a slide asks for Educate to be completed, don't forget to do it by the date given. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to use the idea of a specific latent heat to calculate the energy change taking place when a substance changes state. This type of graph should be familiar to you by now. It shows you what happens when we heat a substance, including the changes of state. Now we know there's an energy change, an energy transfer, when we have changes of state. So here, when the substance is melting, and here when the substance is boiling. And we can use the idea of specific latent heat to calculate what the energy change in figures is at these points. To calculate the energy change, you need to use this equation. Now it is given to you in the exam, but you do need to know how to use it. So E for energy is equal to M for mass times L for specific latent heat. The energy for a change of state is measured in joules, as all energy is. Mass, as you know, is always measured in kilograms, and the specific latent heat is measured in joules per kilogram. Lots of students like the idea of a formula triangle. A formula triangle lets you rearrange a formula to find any one of the missing items. So if you know two of the missing items, you can always rearrange the formula to find the third. Let's do a formula triangle for this equation, E equals ml. The first thing you do is draw the triangle, and you divide the inside up as so. You put a little multiplication sign here, which equates to that, and this line across represents the division sign. And then what you do is you put your formula into the triangle. So here we've got m times L, so here we're going to put in m times L. That leaves a space at the top for the E. Now the beauty of this triangle is whatever term you need to find, you cover up with your hand. So if you needed to find m, you could do E divided by L. If you needed to find E, you'd do m times L. And if you needed to find L, you could do E divided by M. So as long as you know two of these three things, the formula triangle will help you find the third thing. So let's do a worked example. Calculate the energy required to convert 0.8 kilograms of ice to liquid water. The specific latent heat of fusion of water is 334,000 joules per kilogram. Now the first thing to notice here is that we're talking about a change of state from ice to water. So we're talking about melting, which means that the specific latent heat that we need is the specific latent heat of fusion, which is given to us in the question. So all we need to do is write down the formula we're going to use, E equals m times L, and substitute in the figures. Here the mass is 0.8 kilograms and the specific latent heat of fusion is 334,000 joules per kilogram. Put that into your calculator and out pops the answer, 267,200, and don't forget the units. This is energy, so we're measuring in joules. Here's another worked example for you to go through. Calculate the energy required to convert 1.5 kilograms of ethanol from a liquid to a vapor. The specific latent heat of vaporization of ethanol is 846,000 joules per kilogram. So this time the change of state is from liquid to vapor. So from a liquid to a gas. So we need the specific latent heat of vaporization, which has been given to us in the question. Then all that's left to do is to write down the formula you're going to use, E equals m times L, substitute the figures, 1.5 kilogram mass, 846,000 joules per kilogram is the specific latent heat of vaporization. And if you put those into your calculator, the figure that comes out, 12,690,000 joules. The task on this page is to answer these questions using the formula you've just learned in your books. Remember to show all of your working. And your final task for this lesson is to take a picture of the work, including the questions you've answered, and send it via Show My Homework to Mr. Rahman by the 22nd of May. Thank you.